Chongjin GDP Growth Scenario. Part 1. Episode 46. Per capita GDP to reach $20,000 20 years after denuclearization. Iron City, Northeast Asia's golden link where continent and ocean meet. Creating the miracle on the Taedong River, North Korean Workers' Party can do a market economy. Upon entering a market economy, Chongjin will usher in an era of $20,000 per capita GDP, enjoyed by a population of 1.05 million 20 years after denuclearization. Chongjin's GDP in 2027, which is set as the baseline for starting a market economy immediately after denuclearization, is $1.7 billion. Of course, it is an incomparably lower figure than Pyongyang's $11.7 billion, which stands out by a huge gap, but it is above average among local cities excluding Pyongyang. In 2027, Chongjin's GDP per capita starts at $2,500. This is slightly higher than the national average of $1,700 in North Korea, but ranks in the lower tier among the country's 16 major cities. Chongjin is North Korea's largest steel and metal industrial city and a key gateway port city connecting Northeast Asia and Russia. After denuclearization, Chongjin will be transformed into a Northeast Asia smart heavy industry and East Sea logistics hub. Chongjin City is North Korea's third largest city, located in North Hamgyong Province. It was developed as a heavy industrial city during the Japanese colonial period and is currently the center of North Korea's largest steel industry and an important port city. Its most critical facility is the Kimchak Iron and Steel Complex, which possesses large-scale facilities responsible for 50% of North Korea's steel production. Additionally, the Chongjin Shipyard, Chongjin Chemical Plant, and Machinery Factory are concentrated in the area, and Chongjin Port serves as an important port on the East Coast for handling bulk cargo, iron ore, and coal. However, most of the facilities are outdated, dating back to the 1970s and 1980s, and operating rates are low due to difficulties in importing raw materials and modernizing equipment caused by international sanctions. Housing and urban infrastructure are highly underdeveloped, and power shortages and environmental pollution from steel factory smoke and wastewater are serious problems. Although it was designated as the Chongjin Economic Development Zone in 2014, there have been almost no tangible results in attracting foreign investment. If denuclearization and a transition to a market economy are achieved, Chongjin is highly likely to achieve significant growth as a key hub for the heavy chemical, steel, and shipbuilding industries on the East Coast. Since large-scale steel and machinery infrastructures already exist, the cost of industrial transition may be lower and the speed faster than in other cities. Key growth potentials include the modernization of the steel and non-ferrous metal industries centered on the Kimchak Iron and Steel Works, its function as a logistics and export hub, utilizing Chongjin Port, its role as the industrial backbone of the East Coast economic belt, extending from Rasan to Chongjin and Hamhung, and the fostering of the shipbuilding, heavy equipment, and automotive parts industries through the civilian application of military and heavy equipment technology. Unlike Pyongyang's consumer and high-tech sectors or Hamhung's chemical sector, Chongjin is highly likely to specialize as an industrial city focused on heavy industry and logistics. If successful, it could become the growth engine for the entire East Coast economic belt. However, environmental improvements and facility modernization remain prerequisites. 1. Chongjin City is the capital of North Hamgyong Province, located on the east coast of North Korea. Its area is 1,155 square kilometers. The Hamgyong Mountains extend through it, and the Suseong Plain has developed in the Suseong Stream Basin. As of 2026, the population is approximately 690,000. Due to the influence of the East Sea, winters are warm and summers are cool. The annual precipitation is 614 millimeters, making it one of the least rainy regions on the Korean peninsula. Low precipitation implies high potential for solar power generation. After the Japanese imperialist occupation of Manchuria in the 1930s, along with the development of the Musan iron mine, the three major steel mills and various factories, such as textiles, machinery, oils, and canneries, were built, making the city a great leap forward as a heavy industrial city. In particular, after the Japanese imperialist occupation of Manchuria in the 1930s, it grew rapidly as a base for Japan's invasion of the continent and as a hub for politics, military, industry, and land and water trade. This history shows that Chongjin did not become an industrial city by chance, but was an inevitable industrial city where steel and heavy industries have sustained for over 100 years through the combination of a raw material base in the Musan iron mine and an export base in Chongjin port. Chongjin's real GDP is approximately $138 million, and its GDP per capita is approximately $1,970. Chongjin City's core assets make it special. Asset 1, the Kimchak Iron and Steel Complex is North Korea's largest steelworks. Major industrial facilities include the Kimchak Iron and Steel Complex, which is North Korea's largest steelworks, with an annual production capacity of 2.4 million tons of steel, 2.1 million tons of cast iron, 2.67 million tons of hot-rolled steel, and 400,000 tons of cold-rolled steel, as well as the Chongjin Steel Mill, Ranam Coal Mine Machinery Factory, Chongjin Shipyard, Chongjin Railway Factory, Chongjin Chemical Fiber Factory, Ranam Pharmaceutical Factory, Chongjin Rubber Factory, Kangdok Refractory Factory, and Chongjin Ceramic Factory. Currently, only 30–40% of this production capacity is in operation due to aging equipment. However, utilizing the full capacity of the factories upon modernization would instantly resolve North Korea's steel supply issues and enable exports. Asset 2. Chongjin Port is the largest free trade port on the East Sea. Chongjin Port is a hub for maritime traffic and serves as a major port on the East Sea, connecting to various gateways including Japan and Russia as a free trade port. With a cargo handling capacity of 8 million tons and a water depth of 12 meters, it is a port capable of accommodating vessels of up to 20,000 tons, making it comparable to Nampo Port on the west coast. However, due to economic difficulties since the 1990s, 3/4 of its facilities remain out of service. Asset 3. Vertical integration with the Musan iron mine guarantees the world's largest supply of raw materials. The Kimchak Iron and Steel Works primarily utilizes iron ore from the Musan mine, and a pipeline known as the Samhwa Transport has been installed from Musan to Chongjin. The existence of a dedicated transport system from the Musan open-pit iron mine, the world's largest, with estimated reserves of 4.3 billion tons to the Chongjin Iron and Steel Works, is the strongest basis for the cost competitiveness of the Chongjin steel industry. Asset 4. As an advanced marketized city, indigenous capitalists Donju are active. As of the 2010s, it has become a city that relies on commercial and logistics functions rather than the industrial functions that the state intended to proactively develop. As of 2016, although weaker than in Sinuiju, there is also a phenomenon where indigenous capitalists, known as Donju, are involved in urban development. This demonstrates that Chongjin is one of the cities in North Korea most prepared for the transition to a market economy. Asset 5. Chinese and Russian consulates are stationed there. China and Russia maintain consulates in Chongjin. This implies that Chongjin is a city with active diplomatic channels, meaning that legal and administrative support for foreign investment will be immediately possible following denuclearization. This is the current status and master plan for each district of Chongjin City. Songpyeong District is the core area of the iron and metallurgy cluster. The Gangduk refractory plant functions as a supporting industry for Chongjin's iron and steel industry, while the Kimchak Iron and Steel Complex possesses an annual steel production capacity of 2.4 million tons. The master plan designed Songpyeong District as the heart of the Chongjin Steel and Materials Cluster. During the emergency repair phase, 0 to 3 years at the Kimchak Iron and Steel Complex, the operating rate will be restored from the current 40% to 70–80% through the replacement of refractory linings, the digitalization of control systems, and the repair of cooling facilities. Technical diagnostic teams from POSCO and Hyundai Steel will be dispatched within 6 months to establish a detailed repair plan. During the full modernization phase, 15 years, blast furnaces will be gradually converted to electric arc furnaces EAF. Electric arc furnaces enable the production of high-grade special steel while reducing carbon emissions by 60–70%. Under the EU Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism (CBAM), low-carbon steel can command premium prices, dramatically enhancing export competitiveness. By establishing new cold-rolled, hot-rolled, and special steel rolling lines, we are upgrading our products from simple pig iron and crude steel to automotive steel sheets, electrical steel sheets, and H-beams. The Gangdok refractory plant will be modernized to produce high-grade refractory materials based on Jeonnyeong magnesia danchan magnesite raw material. This serves as a dual-demand base capable of both self-supply to the Chongjin Steelworks and export. The investment scale is approximately 5.5 trillion KRW, comprising about 500 billion KRW for emergency repairs and about 5 trillion KRW for comprehensive modernization. Funding sources include 30% POSCO joint venture FDI, 20% China Baogang and Angang joint venture FDI, 30% ADB industrial modernization loans, and 20% Korea Development Bank inter-Korean industrial cooperation loans. The contribution to GDP from steel production and exports is approximately $1.8 billion annually. This is based on an annual production capacity of 2 million tons and a price of $900 per ton, marking the 15th year since denuclearization. The Pohang and Sinam districts serve as port, logistics, and service hubs. Chongjin Port has a cargo handling capacity of 8 million tons and a water depth of 12 meters, allowing vessels of up to 20,000 tons to enter. The master plan modernizes Chongjin Port into the largest complex logistics hub in the East Sea. It sequentially restarts facilities that are currently 3/4 out of operation and specializes each pier by function. Pier 1 is dedicated to the export of steel products and is capable of accommodating 200,000-ton bulk carriers. Pier 2 is dedicated to containers and general cargo. Pier 3 to seafood and frozen cargo, and Pier 4 is dedicated to the import of raw materials such as coke, coking coal, and minerals. We will actively utilize the status of a free trade port connected to various gateways, including Japan and Russia. We will establish direct routes to Niigata and Akita in Japan, Vladivostok in Russia, and Pohang and Sokcho in South Korea. We will design a structure in which Chongjin Port, along with Rason, becomes the 2 leading hubs of logistics in the northern East Sea. Leveraging the characteristic of the Pohang district as a residential area for the ruling elite, this district will be developed into Chongjin's premium residential and business zone. An international residential community will be established, featuring an apartment complex exclusively for foreign business people, international schools, and clinics for foreigners. The Sinam district will be developed as a logistics complex supporting the port. By integrating cold storage facilities, container yards, bonded warehouses, and customs offices, it will function as a logistics backup base for cargo handling at Chongjin Port. The total investment scale is approximately 900 billion won, comprising about 400 billion won for port modernization 300 billion won for the logistics complex, and 200 billion won for the international residential complex. The annual GDP contribution from ports, logistics, and services is approximately 500 million USD. Sunam and Ranam districts are designated as downtown regeneration, commercial, and cultural zones. Chongjin Market is a daily market where various agricultural products, such as fruits and vegetables, and daily necessities are collected, attracting many merchants from neighboring counties. The master plan develops Sunam and Ranam districts into Chongjin's commercial and cultural regeneration hub. Suzyong Stream and Ranam Stream will be restored as waterfront spaces similar to Seoul's Cheonggi Stream. Promenades, cafes, and restaurant streets will be created along both banks to soften the image of the industrial city. The current informal marketplaces will be transformed into modern public markets. Chongjin Market will be modernized into a complex market that combines traditional market culture with tourism, similar to Korea's Gwangjang Market and Suseon Market. A separate specialized seafood market will be established for the direct sale of Chongjin's local products, such as pollock, squid, and mackerel. An administrative and financial hub will be established in Ranam District, concentrating the North Hamgyong Provincial Office, courts, and financial institutions. Following denuclearization, the establishment of Chongjin branches by foreign banks will be prioritized in this district. The scale of investment is approximately 200 billion won for waterfront regeneration and 300 billion won for commercial modernization, totaling approximately 500 billion won. The contribution to GDP from commerce and services is approximately $300 million annually. Cheongam District is an administrative, educational, and R&D district. The location of the City Workers' Party Committee is Cheongam District. As the administrative center of North Hamgyong Province, it is home to a concentration of educational and research institutions. The master plan develops Cheongam District into the Chongjin Knowledge Industry Hub. Existing universities and research institutions will be clustered, and the POSCO Research Institute and Hyundai Steel Technology Center will be attracted. A Chongjin Industry Academic Research Innovation Cluster will be created through cooperation among universities, research institutes, and enterprises. We will establish a Mineral Resources Research Center in North Hamgyong Province to study strategic mineral resources such as rare earth elements, magnesite, and zinc. We will create a knowledge ecosystem where research results from this center lead to the modernization of the Danshan and Musan mining industries. The investment scale is approximately 300 billion won for the R&D cluster. The GDP contribution from education and R&D services is approximately $100 million annually. Buyun District is the western ecological and mining hinterland. The Buyun nickel mine is located in Buyun District. The master plan involves modernizing the Buyun nickel mine to produce nickel concentrates and refined products. Nickel is a strategic mineral and a key raw material for EV batteries' NMC cathode materials, with demand for it rapidly increasing as people move away from China. A production line for nickel-based battery materials will be added in a joint venture with South Korea's EcoPro BM and POSCO Future M. The mountainous area west of Buyun District will be designated as an ecological park and developed as a weekend recreational space for the citizens of Chongjin. The investment scale for the modernization and processing of the nickel mine is approximately 300 billion won. The annual GDP contribution from nickel mining is approximately $100 million. The Ranam District is a zone designated for the civilian conversion of military and machinery industries. Ranam is a military city that was home to the headquarters of the Japanese 19th Division stationed in Korea during the Japanese colonial period, and it remains a hub for military and machinery industrial facilities today. The master plan involves the civilian conversion of the Ranam coal mining machinery complex and the Ranam pharmaceutical plant. The coal mining machinery plant will be converted to the manufacture of construction and mining equipment, while the Ranam pharmaceutical plant will be upgraded into a production base for raw materials for modern pharmaceuticals. Raw materials for generic drugs will be produced through a technology joint venture with South Korean companies HK Innoin and Daewoo Pharmaceutical. The investment scale for civilian conversion and modernization is approximately 300 billion won. The GDP contribution from machinery and pharmaceuticals is approximately $100 million annually. We will continue our discussion on the growth prospects of Chongjin City next time. Thank you.